offensive coordinator Harold Goodwin told me they're going to go with a silent count today on offense at home for the first time ever. He said, we're just going to kind of pretend we're playing in Seattle and it's really noisy. We've been practicing that way all week long. Biggest key, get into a rhythm and get into one early. Joe?
All right, well, we'll get to see if they can do that right out of the gate. Arizona won the toss. They take the ball. Here's what's on the line for the Green Bay Packers. They clinch the NFC North with a win and a Vikings loss. Vikings play tonight at home against the Giants. And for the Cardinals, they clinch a first-round bye with a win. This franchise has never had a first-round bye. Wild card round was instituted back in 1978. You saw Bruce Arians. What a run he's been on. Off we go. Glad you're with us today on Fox as Kerwin Williams will bring it out. And well covered downfield by Green Bay. Dimitri Goodson was there. Darius Gunter there as well, and a 15-yard return sets the ball up inside the 15-yard line at the 12. Here's Carson Palmer, Mr. Hall of Fame quarterback. How well is Carson Palmer playing here in 2015?
Well, he's playing as well as anybody in the league, Joe. Heck, he's having his best season of his career coming off the ACL injury from a year ago. I know Bruce Arians, in visiting with him, says, hey, get us through these next 2 weeks, whatever happens, and have Carson Palmer upright heading into January.
The #1 offense in the league starts with a throw and downfield for Michael Floyd, incomplete. Clinton Dix came over from his safety spot to help out.
This is Bruce Arians. Last week they took a shot on a deep post that would have been a touchdown had it not have been dropped. This time they open up the game against the Green Bay Packers, have a chance to Michael Floyd, who's been a real impactful player here in the last month. Got off to a slow start coming off the injury in training camp, but they've got a lot of speed on the outside and they're going to take advantage of it.
On 2nd and 10, it's the rookie. Johnson gets nothing. Mike Daniels was there. He's been bothered by a bad hamstring, but he answers the bell today. And we'll look at this offense. Why not highlight Larry Fitzgerald, who is likely going to set a career high in receptions?
Well, you see the weapons that Carson Palmer has to deliver the ball to. The Arizona Cardinals script their first 30 plays. And Bruce Arians has about a half a dozen shots down the field within those 30 plays. We saw him on the opening play of this game take one, just like we saw last week. There's going to be many more to come.
Third down and 10. Fitzgerald with a catch, but he's brought down immediately by Hayward. And the Arizona Cardinals, with the lowest 3-and-out percentage in the NFL, they just don't do it much, go 3-and-out to start their day.
That's a great start for this Green Bay defense, facing the league's #1 offense, a defense that has given up yards through the season. Here on the road, they step up and force a 3-and-out.
Catch number 100 on the year for Fitzgerald was short of the first down, and a fair catch. Called for and hauled in by Micah Hyde at the 40. Good starting field position for Aaron Rodgers. People have been saying what's wrong and what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. Weeks 1 through 4, his completion percentage was 72%. Weeks 5 through 15, 57%. For a guy that I think both you and I agree is the best in the NFL.
He's a terrific player. I think all the things that we thought were going to occur when the season began didn't. The injury to Jordy Nelson, how's that going to affect the offense? Randall Cobb was banged up, and then it hit him after about 6 weeks into the season. But it has been a struggle getting guys open versus man coverage, and they're going to see a lot of that in this game.
Here's Lacy. As you said, Troy, in the opening, Eddie Lacy had 124 rush yards against Dallas 2 weeks ago and was a non-factor in a win out in Oakland. Starks joins him in the backfield, and Andrew Quarles comes back this week. First game since week 3. We'll see more 2 tight end sets for the Packers. 2nd and 8. Rodgers. Pass is caught by James Jones. First down. And the Packers are inside Arizona territory after 2 plays. Bethel out there on coverage. And on the defense, there are 3 of the 7 Pro Bowlers named for the Arizona team here in 2015. Cobb in the backfield, and he gets it. Picks up 2.
Well, one thing, when you look at Cardinals defense, because they are so good in the secondary, they're able to match up. One of those matchups we're going to see throughout this game is All-Pro Patrick Peterson, who's going to be opposite Randall Cobb a good part of the game, but it allows them then to load up the box and try to play this running game for the Packers.
Penalty flag at the start of the play. Taking the big shot is Aaron Rodgers for Jones, incomplete. And it's against Green Bay.
Offside. Defense number 93. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
We need to talk about here at the top Tyrann Mathieu being out on IR. Torn right ACL late in that game in Philadelphia, and such an emotional leader on this defense, on this team. They're going to miss him.
They are, and I think Bruce Arians really said it best, that you're not going to replace the emotional leader that he is, the energy he brings to the field, but they got more than capable hands to make up for him on the field because of how much depth they have. It's one of the reasons why Justin Bethel is playing outside corner in this ballgame. They've had to shuffle the deck a little bit.
Here's Lacy on 2nd and 3. Ran into a wall, gave it a second effort, gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. And Dayon Buchanan, who was drafted as a safety, 6'1", 211, playing on the inside at linebacker, was in to help on the stop.
I think he's a terrific player, coming off a heck of a game the other night. Interception return for a touchdown. I know the Green Bay Packers, one of their goals in this game is to run downhill at Dayon Buchanan, make him fill in the run game.
Third down, Rodgers in trouble. Penalty flag flies, looks like a hold. Pass is caught by Jones, but we'll check the flag.
Holding. Offense number 71. 2-yard penalty. Third down.
That is Josh Sitton, who was just named to his 3rd Pro Bowl, dealing with a bad back.
Well, he's got his hands full as well. I mean, he's out there playing, fighting through the back injury that you speak of, and going up against Calais Campbell, who's a Pro Bowl player himself. And if you're going to have success, whether it's in pass protection or running the football, you better account for number 93 of the Arizona Cardinals, Calais Campbell.
Starks now in the lineup. They like to screen it to Starks a lot. 3rd down and 13. Rodgers throws across the field for Adams. What a catch. What a throw. What a catch. And the 2 officials get together to see if it was good. No signal yet. And they say incomplete. Peterson out there in coverage.
4th down.
Let's take another look. Right foot and out.
They didn't get the left foot down. A little bit of a bobble as he's going down to the ground as well. Patrick Peterson, fortunate. They could have and should have called pass interference. Contact before the ball arrived. I was impressed with the throw. Adams turns the opposite way that you would expect a receiver to turn when your quarterback is running opposite of you, but Rodgers put it on the money.
Good stop there by the Cardinals defense after the drive started at the 40. And a false start against Green Bay.
False start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Here's where Davante Adams, he sees Rodgers in trouble, and then he turns, so he's got his shoulders to the sidelines. Rodgers was clear on the other side of the field. He had to throw a perfect pass when you're challenging Patrick Peterson with the ball in the air that long, but Peterson never saw it. And like I said, contact before the ball arrived.
Line drive punt by Mastay. And it turns into a real good one for Green Bay. The drive will start at the 5 for Arizona, their second possession. Good matchup today. America's Game of the Week, no score in the Valley of the Sun.
This game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide.
We've looked at the replay of Aaron Rodgers and that throw he made. Across the field, dropped it in perfectly to Davante Adams. He was out of bounds as he hauled it in, so the punt followed, and now starting at the 5 with the Cardinals, no score. Handoff is to the kid, David Johnson, who is making a name rapidly in the NFL, the rookie. Here's that throw by Aaron Rodgers.
You can see as Aaron Rodgers rolls out to his right, and the angle that he had to deliver this ball back to Davante Adams. I think Rodgers was just wanting him to stay up the sidelines. There's Rodgers talking to Mike McCarthy. He thought he had made the catch, but clearly he was out of bounds on the reception.
Play action from Palmer. Slings it, pass caught, Floyd first down. 13 yards on 2nd and 4.
And one of the things that I've really been impressed with in watching Carson Palmer is just how well he throws the ball on time. You don't see him with the ball in his hands for very long in the pocket. Helps out the offensive line. Very accurate with the football, and when he's on his game like he has been really all year long, he's as good as there is and as fun to watch as anybody in the game.
Playing with tape on that right index finger that was dislocated in that win at Philly last week. Johnson bottled up. First guy there was B.J. Raji. A loss of 2. Look at this Packers defense. When they have 2 or more sacks this season, they are undefeated. In their 10 wins, they have 37 of their 38 sacks. And the kids, that's who you want to circle, the 2 young corners.
I tell you, 2 young, talented guys. I think Demarius Randall last week went up against one of the game's best in Amari Cooper and, had mixed results. But those 2 young guys have their hands full here today, as we talked about, with the speed and the talent of this Cardinals receiving corps.
Bunch set up top for Arizona. Out of the backfield, it's Johnson. And Johnson makes a couple missed, and down the sideline he goes. Turning into a star in the NFL is David Johnson. Good for 44.
Now there's 5 Packers that have an opportunity to get David Johnson to the ground, and yet none of them are capable of doing it. We saw it the other night against the Eagles when David Johnson went about 78 yards against them. About 7 guys missed on that play, and this guy's hard to get on the ground. He's got great speed. Obviously, he can break tackles, and he has shown it since he took over for Chris Johnson 4 weeks ago.
He is big, 6'1", 224. Ellington checks in. Been dealing with turf toe. They play action it his way, and Carson Palmer tripped up. And a good play made by Mike Pennell. No gain.
That was a good play by Mike Pennell. He had a lot of room out in front of him to run, and Pennell's been one of the bright spots for this defense. A second-year player. You see the job that he does, just chucking Lyle Senline, the center, and then making an open field tackle on Carson.
That goes down as a sack for Pennell, his first of the year. 2nd and 10. Toss to Ellington, running right. Down inside the 30. 3rd down coming up.
Andre Ellington, he's getting his opportunity to play today. He's missed the last 3 games. He's had a turf toe, and they've been trying to find a shoe that would not cause him some discomfort. When he's in tennis shoes, he's fine. He had been having a hard time finding a cleat that allowed him to do some of those things. He apparently found one today. It's a very painful injury, but nice job there on 2nd down, picking up 6 yards.
Looks like they've cut a little hole in the front of that left shoe for Ellington. Now 3rd and 4. brought down by Mike Neal. And that's a big sack as it takes the ball back to the 38, a loss of 9, and the punt team comes out for Arizona.
That's great work by Mike Neal. He works right through Mike Iupati. Iupati could have been called with a holding penalty, but they get the sack on Carson Palmer.
Drives him out of long field goal range, and now this is well covered. Britton Golden downfield made that play. A 33-yard punt. Here's the sack by Neal, America's Game of the Week. No score. Good one. Packers and Cardinals.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
The Green Bay Packers have already clinched a playoff spot, and they're looking for their 5th straight divisional title. No score here in Glendale. Drive starts at the 4 as Lacy carries, plows ahead, and picks up 3.
Well, we visited with Mike McCarthy, and he understands as better than anybody some of the struggles of this offense and now what they're trying to do, and they want to continue to run the football, and they've had success at times doing that. And one of the focuses today is we talked about a little bit earlier, running downhill at Dayon Buchanan. He's 211 pounds, but yet a lot of teams have tried that against this Arizona defense without much success. They're very stout. They're inside.
Here's a toss to Lacy. That is a good hard run by Eddie Lacy, and he looks to be less than half a yard short of a first down. But Lacy took some Cardinals for a ride and picked up 6.
It's a good start so far for Eddie Lacy. These are the types of runs that they need from him, and they need to see him finish some of these runs. I know watching him really, Joe, all year, he just has looked a little sluggish and has not had the burst and power that we're used to seeing.
Here is Lacy. Depends on how much forward progress, and they're going to give him a first down. Ran into the waiting arms of Calais Campbell, but a first down carry for Eddie Lacy. Talking about wrapping up a divisional title for Green Bay, which would be their 5th straight. If they get a win out here in Arizona and a Minnesota loss tonight to the Giants, they clinch the NFC North.
I like that play selection by Mike McCarthy, keeping it on the ground and trying to keep it in some manageable down and distances.
Play action to Starks. Rodgers is in trouble. Flag is thrown as Rodgers gets rid of it. Alex Okafor with pressure.
There's a flag in the area of Dayon Buchanan. If they're going to get him for a hold.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 28. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Justin Bethel actually is who they got. I thought when the flag was thrown, it might have been on Dayon Buchanan, but you see Bethel as Aaron Rodgers, he starts scrambling and keeps that play alive. They got him on the hold, which gives the Packers the automatic first down.
Packers without David Bakhtiari out at left tackle. Inactive with an ankle and knee. Here's Starks. So Don Barclay gets the start at left tackle. A pickup of 4 for James Starks. And there's Bakhtiari, who's been battling one thing or another, a knee earlier, now an ankle, and inactive today.
Yeah, he finally just couldn't go. It's been impressive that he's been able to go on other weeks. You're right, Joe. It's taken everything that he's had to get onto the field, but just couldn't make it happen in this one.
High snap, handoff to Starks. Third down coming up. Meanwhile, Corey Linsley is back at center. There was some talk during the week that J.C. Treader may get his 3rd straight start, but it's Linsley. 3rd and 5.
I'll tell you, they got the Cardinals right now. Aaron Rodgers, they're all communicating, trying to get the defense called. A little confusion on that side of the ball.
Too high for Adams, 4th down. And that one took off out of the hand of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they've had a hard time on third downs, just sustaining really any drives for quite some time. They were good against Dallas a couple weeks ago, but outside of that, it's just been a challenge. Everything that this offense has done has been hard. Nothing has come easy. And a big reason for that, they've been having a hard time getting big chunks in their passing game.
Good punt by Mastek. Flag flies as Peterson takes off running left. But a penalty flag is thrown after a 6-yard return. We'll see who it's against. Terry McCauley is our referee. And it's a personal foul face mask. The initial indication was against Green Bay. And then McCauley started to talk to McCarthy, and he realized he was talking to the wrong head coach. So Arians has to figure out if he wants another
During
punt.
the kick, personal foul, grasping the face mask, kicking team number 83. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. First down, Arizona, timeout.
It is against Jeff Janis. 15 yards added to the end of the run back. No score. You see what's going on with this offense for Arizona. They are number 1 in the league in yards per game. They're right behind Carolina at the start of the week in points per game. The last time to lead the NFL in both 1948. Cardinals, an original NFL team, started play back in 1920. Chicago, St. Louis, and now Arizona. From midfield, Palmer sets up, fires, pass is caught on the sideline by John Brown. And John Brown is rapidly making his way toward a 1,000-yard receiving season.
Yeah, it'll be a milestone for him. He had a tough outing the other night, had a few drops in that ball game. Bruce Arians suggested that maybe it was because he was pressing to reach that 1,000-yard mark. But I know in talking with Carson Palmer, he said, hey, from day one, this guy's been very mature and professional and just doesn't think that had anything to do with it.
He's at 9:47 for the year, and here is Johnson. He's talking to Steve Horn, our editorial consultant. They talked about scouts who are comparing and likening Johnson to the game of Matt Forte with the Chicago Bears. He's a strong running back, and he is really good out of the backfield catching the football.
Well, in that first play, when they went empty backfield, they split him out, and they had him matched up on Demarius Randall, and they'll throw him the ball at any time. He's got outstanding hands, and he creates a matchup problem for most everybody on the field.
2nd down and 2. Here he is again. Makes a little move and picks up a first down. He was a record setter at Northern Iowa. Before that, this rookie 3rd-round pick attended school in Clinton, Iowa. Then at the University of Northern Iowa, record setter in yards rushing and rushing touchdowns, a 3rd-round pick. And he's got 12 total touchdowns for the season, leading all rookies.
Heck of a steal there in the 3rd round. And you look at what the Arizona Cardinals have done in the draft here in recent years. Boy, they like speed. At virtually every position, they have guys that can flat out run.
Palmer keeps it. There he is again. Makes the catch. Makes a move. Has a first down as he went right around Jake Ryan. And a 15-yard catch and run by Johnson, who's taking over this position.
Well, Joe, you showed it a minute ago and talked about it, that this Cardinals offense, number 2 in the league, averaging over 31 points per game. And when you give them the ball in midfield, like the Packers did, and you expect to keep them out of the end zone, hard to do. And they've got the Packers defense up against the wall.
B.J. Raji is getting medical attention on the field. We'll take a break with 30 seconds left in the quarter. Well, they tell you in broadcaster school to not speculate on injury, but when you watch Clinton Dix come into the face mask of B.J. Raji and then Raji go off, it looks like he is in the concussion protocol right now. And we're not going to have another play before the end of the first quarter. Good matchup, Packers and Cardinals. After one, no score, but the Cardinals making a move. Back after this from your local Fox station. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide. The Cardinals, with all the points that they've put up, they're number 11 in the red zone, 60% scoring touchdowns. Already a franchise record 445 points for the attack put together by Bruce Arians. First down and goal. Palmer, end zone, contact, no flag. Gresham was looking for it. And Clinton Dix was back there defending for the Packers.
Yeah, I think Carson Palmer is going to want this throw back. You're going to see David Johnson come out of the backfield. He runs the post route, and you put it on him right there. He's got a chance to score, but Carson didn't feel good about it. But this is a pretty good matchup right here with this offense that's capable of putting up a lot of points, and this Packers defense ranked 5th in the league in scoring defense.
Officially, B.J. Raji is being checked for a concussion. Second and goal. Underneath, it's Gresham. Takes it inside the 5 to the 3. Picked up 7. Third and goal coming up. Rollins was there to make the tackle for the Packers as we begin the second quarter. And Bruce Arians, I have a feeling you would have liked to play for Bruce Arians, who likes to air it out and gets creative when he puts a game plan together and delivers it on Tuesday night to his offense.
Well, everyone gets excited. He's done a great job at every stop, and he's had a lot of great quarterbacks he's worked with, from Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, and now Carson Palmer.
Throw Andrew Luck in there too. Third and goal. Palmer, pass, caught. Fitzgerald, touchdown.
He lines up in the slot. You're going to see him here, and he finds the hole once he crosses the goal line, and he just sits down, makes it very quarterback friendly. He's not moving around. You know immediately what he's doing. He's decisive in his route. A guy who really did not play much of the slot receiver position up until a couple years ago has thrived there under Bruce Arians.
97th career touchdown catch for Larry Fitzgerald in his 12th year out of Pitt. And he has had his career rejuvenated in the slot. And it's the Cardinals at 12-2, winners of 8 straight, striking first on Green Bay today. Talk about moving to the slot, and that's all Bruce Arians, like he did with Hines Ward in Pittsburgh. Talk about Bruce Arians being a quarterback whisperer with all the guys that he's worked with. How about Hines Ward and now what he's getting out of a big slot receiver in Larry Fitzgerald? So the Packers are down by 7. They come in having won 3 in a row. They've won 10 games on the season, and yet Mike McCarthy has shown his frustration and has talked about being sick of the negativity that goes on here. I don't need to read the quote to you, but I will because it's fun. We lost 3 games on the last play. Denver beat us. That's the overview of our season. I don't know if it's so much the 10 wins. I think it's what you talked about at the beginning. I mean, he's had to go back and take over play calling. 3rd game doing that. And the offense isn't rolling like we're used to seeing under Aaron Rodgers.
No, it's been a struggle offensively. The quarterback has shown his frustration with the struggles that they've had on offense. And I think that's why there has been some negativity.
Great protection. Abradaris off his hands. And he's got Patrick Peterson right there with him.
And too many times we've seen these types of things happen to this Packers offense. You see they come off of play action. They've been running the football. You get what you want. And Rodgers lays it out there to Abradaris, really nicely, and yet he's not able to haul in the catch. And too many times we've seen that. And so now you get behind on the chains and you start pressing a little bit, and things just haven't come as easily as they once did.
Cobb in the backfield. Rodgers was looking there. Now comes back to Abrederis, who after last week, Aaron Rodgers said he deserves more playing time, and he has confidence in the guy that just dropped that big first down pass.
And that's why he's going to get some playing time here today. If your quarterback likes a receiver, then as a head coach and a play caller, you're going to make sure those guys are out there on the field. He's a fan favorite from Wisconsin, walked on there at the university, has battled through some injuries. But like you said, Joe, Aaron Rodgers says he's got a knack for getting open. Now he's just got to catch the ball when it comes.
3rd down and 5. Pass is caught by James Jones. And a first down for the Green Bay Packers. And Jones, even inside here in Glendale, Arizona, sticks with the hoodie. That's got to be now a good luck thing for the guy.
Well, I would go with the good luck thing because you wear the hoodie, but you cut the sleeves off. So he's not cold, obviously, but it's just something that he likes.
First time we saw it was against the Vikings on the road. Had a good game. Did it again at home against Dallas. Same story. Pass is caught by Randall Cobb. And with that, as the Packers try to gain some traction, here's Kurt with a game break.
Well, St. Louis beat Seattle week 1. Could it be about to happen again? After the fumble, Akeem Ayers scoops it up. Nice return. 45 yards for a defensive touchdown. The Rams have a 10-0 lead on the road in Seattle. Joe, Troy, and Eric.
This is a tough league to figure week to week. 2nd and 5. Handoff is to Cobb. A flag is thrown. 2 of them. And that's a hold.
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And that's the center, Lindsley.
Just too many penalties for this Packers offense as well. All year long, Corey Lindsley, the center, number 63, he grabs Calais Campbell, just like we saw earlier when Josh Sitton grabbed Campbell. But the offensive line, to go back to them, Joe, they coming into the season had a number of injuries and were fighting through that. I remember going back to the week 1 game we had with them in Chicago. There were a lot of question marks with some of those guys then, right out of camp, and it really has continued. They've been pretty beat up, even though they haven't lost a lot of guys to injury as far as getting on the field.
2nd and 15. Here's Rodgers, the tight end, and a good play out there by Buchanan. And the safety linebacker hybrid brings down Rodgers with a gain of 2.
And he comes in, he's a first-round pick. He's going to be safety. They wind up, basically playing him at linebacker right from the beginning. And to have a guy like him that's physical and yet be able to cover because of his skills is a real advantage for Arizona matching up against some of these tight ends and running backs.
Blitz coming. Rodgers is sacked. Flag is thrown. Calais Campbell got home.
Holding. Offense number 67. Penalties decline. 4th down.
And more frustration offensively. A hold on Barkley. It's declined. 4th down. And they still can't get it going yet.
Well, you see Calais Campbell, he's having a monster game here in this first half. He's already drawn a couple holding penalties, and he has a double team in front of him there, and they still can't keep him off of Aaron Rodgers.
Line drive punt, Peterson. That's off his hand and recovered by Arizona. Chris Clemens is there to recover. And Aaron Rodgers suffers the sack on 3rd down. Cardinals get back on it, have the ball, and a 7-point lead.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation that excites. By Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor only at Pizza Hut. And by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Sign up now.
Earlier this month, Patrick Peterson and Calais Campbell's Foundation hosted needy children at local retail stores so they can get toys for the holidays. A lot of guys doing a lot of good things in the NFL as Arizona, leading by 7, takes over at their own 27. They David Johnson lines up wide to the left side, bottom of the screen. Palmer, big hit. Pass caught by John Brown. Casey Hayward on the stop. There was early contact on Patrick Peterson, not letting him catch the ball cleanly. No flag, and that's why Peterson got up pleading his case with the back judge. But Arizona able to get on the loose ball as it was recovered by Chris Clemens. 2nd and 6. Floyd makes the catch, takes it out across the 40 with a first down, working on Quentin Rollins.
Clay Matthews, who made the transition to inside linebacker, they still put him on the outside from time to time and let him rush the passer. Cardinals are in empty backfield. They know it's a pass. They bring him, but they take care of him, and then Michael Floyd against Quentin Rollins. And like I said, when Michael Floyd can create some real issues, as can Larry Fitzgerald, and then of course John Brown, and when you start worrying about those guys, then you've got to handle the inside passing game with a running back like David Johnson.
He gets it and picks his way through the Packer defense and picks up 5.5.
You know, this offense, Joe, obviously very explosive, but the offensive line was built to run the ball. When Bruce Arians came here, he wanted to run the ball. He wanted to try to take some of the hits off of Carson Palmer, and when I visited with him, they weren't good running the ball a year ago. They're outstanding this year. I said, what's the biggest difference as to why you're so much better and improved? He said they've just made a bigger commitment to running the ball, but I think a lot of that has to do with the success that they've had. It's been easier to stick with it.
2nd and 5 pass is caught. Floyd. And another on-time throw from Carson Palmer, good for 17, as Floyd works against the rookie Randall.
Well, you run the ball and you do some of those things. You put David Johnson in the backfield, and all of a sudden everybody starts creeping up, and you've got nobody in the middle of the field. You're man-to-man on the outside, and you get the ball to Michael Floyd, and you just can't hold up.
Carson Palmer 10 for 12 to start this game, 134 yards and a touchdown. Extra men on the rush. Palmer protected. There's Johnson. Outruns Ryan. Sets up 1st and goal. 29 yards to David Johnson.
Well, you're going to see Jake Ryan and how he tries to cover David Johnson out of the backfield. There's just no chance whatsoever. He puts a move on him as he gets to the top of the route. And then it's a foot race, and that's just one that Jake Ryan is not going to win.
Took it to the 6. He's got 3 catches for 88 yards, and he's over 100 yards already from scrimmage. Again, to the edge. Near the 2, brought down by Matthews.
You know, they liked this kid from the time he came in. You know, the very first day, they liked everything about him. A very mature guy and obviously immensely talented, and they knew that. You know, he was dealing with a hamstring injury back in training camp, and Andre Ellington, he was banged up as well, and it's why they had to go out and sign Chris Johnson, and then, of course, he had been playing outstanding. But the injury that he had in camp, I think, really just kind of, you know, derailed his debut, but he has been awfully good here now going on 4 weeks.
2nd and goal. Johnson to the 1. 3rd down and goal. Datone Jones in there to make the hit. You know, one big reason why they've run the ball better, I know it's a tough question to answer, and Arians kind of stammered around answering it, has got to be Mike Iupati, who was picked up, the longtime 49er, missed the first 3 games, and now he's been at left guard, named to his 4th Pro Bowl.
He looks a little shook up right now. He's an absolute road grader there at that left guard position, and he joined another great free acquisition at Jared Beldier at left tackle.
Here's Johnson. Pass caught. Short of it. Well played out there by Morgan Burnett. And now the side judge comes in and says incomplete.
Pass is ruled incomplete. 4th down.
What a good play by Burnett. And a good call by the side judge.
A good call and an excellent stop there by the Packers defensively. With the way their own offense has been performing all year long, you know, to get down 14 points may be too much, but Cardinals have a nice drive, but the Packers forcing the field goal attempt here to keep it close.
Catanzaro's missed only 2 field goals. He's missed 4 extra points. This is like the old extra point. 19 yards, 10-0. All Arizona so far as Aaron Rodgers will try to figure it out. About to go back to work. Rookie David Johnson helped get him down there. 40 total yards on the drive. Catanzaro from 19 yards away. 10-0 Arizona. And Aaron Rodgers in the offense will try to come up with an answer here. Good first game for this Packer team when Mike McCarthy took over the play calling duties. And that win against the Dallas Cowboys, not as good last week. Slow start today. The drive will start at the 20. And we'll take a break. Here comes Aaron with his Packers down 10.
This game is sponsored by Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Cold out here in the desert this week, and Mike Iupati is getting attention on that left shoulder. He is in some pain on the sideline for Arizona while Green Bay takes over at their 20 down 10. 3 drives, 3 punts, 4 first downs, and 47 yards of offense for Green Bay to start it. Pass to a wide open James Jones. And a good start to this drive for the Packers as Jones gets 17.
Really good route by James Jones, as you're going to see. It acts like he's starting across the field. He comes back out of it. And those are the things you don't see enough of in this man coverage that they have seen really since mid-season and just have had a hard time consistently beating it. They need to see more guys run routes like we just saw from James Jones.
Quick throw, Cobb makes a move inside. Good play on first down. He gets 8.
Randall Cobb, that's his second catch now today, but every week Mike McCarthy trying to draw up some plays and some things to get him the ball, whether it's putting him in the backfield like they did a lot of in the second half against Oakland last week. Now he's lined up in the slot, but they're a better team when he has the ball.
Packers trying to pick up the pace. Rodgers in trouble, just going to air it out and throw it away. Good coverage downfield by this outstanding secondary for Arizona.
Well, they're really good. Patrick Peterson, they can put him on anybody and he can pretty much eliminate them. And they've got some outstanding play at the safety position, and they're a ball-hawking secondary that if you make mistakes, they're going to make you pay.
Now 3rd down and 2. Timeout taken by Mike McCarthy.
Charge timeout, Green Bay.
First time out of the game. McCarthy will talk about a 3rd and 2, and we'll see it when we come back. Cardinal fans proving they're going to make some noise in their home stadium after being challenged by Bruce Arians. A lot of Green Bay Packer fans here. Loud on 3rd and 2. Is broken up. Buchanan got his arm in there with the intended target, Richard Rodgers, and it's 4th down.
Pretty good coverage there by Deone Buchanan. Maybe if Rodgers is able to get the ball out in front, but it was one that was thrown just a tad behind, and Buchanan able to get his hand on the ball.
It has been such a struggle for Green Bay on third down all year. Last week, not good for 13 at Oakland. They're 2 for 6 today, and they're going to run a fake. Mastay looking for a block, and Mastay's got a first down. Gutsy call by Mike McCarthy.
Really great call. I was wondering, they were on their own side of the 50 though, and I thought, do you go for it here on fourth down or not? The way this game is going, you need something, and was not expecting the fake punt, and nor was the Arizona Cardinals. Great execution. Mastay has to go get it right there, and he does. And Ron Zook, the special teams coach, he's got to be awfully happy with the results of that play.
Really good block out on the edge by Chris Banjo.
Well, those guys are not used to carrying the ball, and when he had it, you didn't know if he was looking to maybe throw it or what exactly he was going to do, and you just got to go get it, but it's a punter. He did a good job of picking up that first down.
7-yard run on 4th and 2. Here's Lacy. And in a game where Aaron Rodgers talked about running downhill at the lighter linebacker Dayon Buchanan, they've yet to really establish the run. Look at Banjo, 32, out on the edge with a good block.
Good job, Jake Ryan, number 47. He's out there as well, and that's just a good call at the right time here in this first half.
Mastay with the longest run of this first half for Green Bay. Rodgers sacked. Campbell again.
Well, they don't handle the twist very well. He comes here, but Don Barclay, the left tackle, he doesn't pass it off. Josh Sitton picks up his guy. Barkley, he's got to come off then and pick up Calais Campbell. Unable to. It opens things up for the sack.
Tyrann Mathieu loves it. Second sack for Calais Campbell. Now 3rd and 15. Rodgers is brought down again. Campbell. And Rodgers can't find anywhere to throw it.
You got nowhere to go with the ball, but Aaron Rodgers has to know he cannot sit in the pocket like that and expect to have time to unload it. Good coverage across the board. He had something underneath. He's trying to drive the ball down the field to pick up the first down. Calais Campbell is having a monstrous first half.
Packers offensive line. As Peterson's just able to corral it. They've allowed 3 sacks, have committed 3 holds. This has been a bad day up front for Green Bay, and the frustration mounting for number 12 as he and the Packers trail by 10. You can get apps, videos, and more at itunes.com/NFL. Secondary for the Cardinals clamping down on the Green Bay receivers. Calais Campbell has 2.5 sacks. They give the other half to Marcus Golden, the rookie linebacker from Missouri. And now with 2 minutes left in the half, starting at their own 24, up 10. This is picked off. Daniels. And the first turnover for Arizona in 4+ games is an interception by Mike Daniels.
Carson Palmer hasn't thrown an interception, like you said, since before Thanksgiving, and they're trying to run the screenplay. David Johnson under here, and you're going to see Mike Daniels, who's had a great year. He recognizes the screen. He's trying to pick up the running back coming his way, looks up, and makes a play on the ball, and that's exactly what this defense needed to do. In fact, Mike McCarthy yesterday said Carson Palmer will give us a couple of opportunities for interceptions, and now it's just a matter of whether or not we catch the football. And who would have thought it would have been Mike Daniels, the guy making the play?
That was stunning. Daniels rewarded with a 4-year extension in season. Having a good year, as Troy said. Now play action. Trying to strike fast. Cobb brought down by Peterson.
This crowd right now is rocking, Joe, because you commented earlier about how many Packer fans there are here at the stadium. They're pretty excited with the Packers having the ball. inside the 20-yard line for the first time.
Talk about red zone for the Green Bay Packers. They're number 14 in the league. Converting opportunities into touchdowns 59% of the time. 2nd and 8. Toss to Lacy looking for a block. Not much out there to the 10. 3rd down coming up. Third down and 5.
Just haven't been able to get that running game going as much as they want to. Arizona has been awful tough running the football against, and so anything that they've been able to do, which obviously hasn't been a lot, has had to come through the passing game.
Lindsley is down. Here's what Bruce Arians said during the week. With all the Packer fans, no fan base travels better than the Green Bay Packers. And here is his quote. There are a lot of Wisconsiners who live out here in the Valley of the Sun. And they are here, but we've seen it many, many times, Troy. As far as a fan base, they can make another team's stadium their own the way they travel.
Yes, they can, and I've seen it when I was playing there in Dallas. They travel well everywhere. Pittsburgh Steelers, they do as well. But when Carson Palmer and the Cardinals are playing at home and they're practicing the silent count in practice during the week, it tells you what you're up against in a fan base.
Green Bay uses a timeout as Lindsley, who's been dealing with an injured ankle, got his head down trying to block Buchanan. He has to come out.
Well, if there's a silver lining in that, is the fact that J.C. Treader has been playing here in recent weeks, and so he's ready and more than qualified to jump in there.
Big 3rd down. 3rd and 5. Rodgers, flag down, pass is picked, intercepted, Justin Bethel. The penalty is against Green Bay, and the interception will stand. 2nd of the year for Bethel.
We talked about Justin Bethel earlier and how this secondary can make you pay if you're off the mark, and Bethel makes a nice play on the ball.
And a rare red zone interception thrown by Aaron Rodgers. Bethel makes the play. Still 10-0. Coming up, it's the Visa halftime report. Kurt, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will be along with scores and highlights. Doug Baldwin has been on a tear. So has Russell Wilson. 19 touchdowns, no interceptions his last 5 games. But they have their hands full with the Rams at home, losing 16-0. Meanwhile, the depth of that Arizona secondary shows as Bethel gets the pick. Under a minute to go in the half. Palmer steps up. He's got Floyd. Floyd makes a catch. Gets a block. Down inside the 35.
The safeties are so worried about a big play down the field. They're playing awfully deep. You run the dig route with Michael Floyd, and then you've got to throw a good ball in there by Carson Palmer up over the linebacker, and he does beautifully, and Floyd goes up and gets it. A lot of space in that area of the field if you're able to make that throw the way Carson was able to.
Palmer's already thrown for 210 in the game. 47-yarder to Michael Floyd. Plenty of time for Arizona, up by 10. Pass clock. This Floyd doesn't drop anything.
No, he's a heck of a player, and it's been a bit of a struggle. Like I said, a hand injury in camp put him on the the inability to play list there for a little while, and John Brown, he just captures the position and maintained it throughout the season, and then he's come on awfully well here in the last month of the season.
Timeout taken by Arizona. Let's find out what's going on with B.J. Raji. Aaron, what's up?
Yeah, Joe, we saw that big collision. B.J. Raji right into Clinton Dix. Green Bay telling us Raji is out with a concussion.
So the big man in the middle is lost. They just got an important interception by Mike Daniels, and then Aaron Rodgers, who came into this season having thrown 5 red zone interceptions in his career, has 3 this year, and a red zone interception in back-to-back weeks now.
Yeah, tough one there when you're able to make this a one-possession game, but after one play, the Cardinals put themselves immediately in field goal range to come away with some points of their own.
2nd and 1, Palmer. Fitzgerald, and a flag is down, not in the area of the coverage, but on the far side of the field. And it's a hold against Green Bay, which is an automatic first down.
Holding, defense number 33. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's against Micah Hyde. Here it is.
There's the grab on David Johnson, and we talk about the big playability of this offense. Generally, when you say that, it all comes through the passing game. Certainly the Cardinals are capable of piling up a lot of big plays in that area, but in the run game, they get big yards as well. So trying to stop any part of that is challenging, and Bruce Arians is as good as there is at exploiting a defense's weakness.
32 seconds left in the half. Pass too high for David Johnson. That one took off out of the hand of Carson Palmer. Troy, this is the 60th red zone trip for Arizona on offense this season. 57 of the first 59 have produced points. That's how you set a franchise record for points scored.
That's why I say that, last year this team was really humming along, and with the injuries that they had, it was unfortunate. They're on their 3rd quarterback in the postseason, and I think everybody left last year wanting to know what it would have been had they have been healthy, and we're hoping to get to January healthy this year and find out.
2nd and 10. Fitzgerald sets up a first down as he takes it to the 7. Timeout Arizona with 22 seconds left.
They got Jerron Brown, who he runs a drag route. They completely turn him loose. That's a touchdown if Carson sees him. He goes to his money man, Larry Fitzgerald. That's a pretty reliable target also.
Fitzgerald now is 1 catch away from tying his career high. He has got 3 catches in this game. He's got a touchdown. He's up to 102 for the season.
It's pretty crazy too. That single season high for him was back in 2005, his 2nd year in the league. Last year, a lot of people thought Larry Fitzgerald was on a steady decline, and I don't know that anyone could have expected him to come out and have the year that he's had this year.
First down and goal. Fitzgerald drops it. Wasn't much there anyway. Hayward was in good position for Green Bay. Now 2nd and goal.
Well, this becomes a big possession for this Packers defense. Having given up really a lot of yards in this first half, over 250 yards of offense to the Cardinals without much help from their own offense. If they can get out of this thing just giving up 13 points, it'll be a big win for them.
Look at the total yards and the difference. Green Bay only 71. 2nd and goal. Palmer backs out and throws it away with Clay Matthews bearing down on him. And then Matthews was going to help Palmer up, and Carson said, "Get away from me."
Well, you see the hit at the end of the play, and Clay Matthews, when he was rushing, he was so engaged in trying to get to Carson Palmer in the pocket that it's what allowed Carson then to get outside. And Clay Matthews, it's amazing that you put on any game any week, and watch this defense play, and he's going 100 miles an hour.
I think Clay may have pulled the hand back. Now 3rd down and goal. Palmer throws, pass, caught, touchdown, John Brown. Touchdown number 7 for the second-year pro out of Pittsburgh State.
Well, the timing by Carson Palmer is just outstanding. He turns this ball loose really before Brown even starts his break, and it's on him so quickly. It was pretty good coverage down there across the board, and Carson just knows immediately where he's going with the ball, turns it loose, gets the ball into tight spaces as a result.
(17-0) with 6 seconds left in the half. Carson Palmer now with 2 third-down touchdown passes in the game. The UFC starts the new year off with a bang, and it all begins on FS1. The return of power punching phenom Michael McDonald in his first fight in over 2 years. The UFC 195 starts with the prelim Saturday at 7:30 Eastern, only on FS1. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Carson Palmer tore his ACL in November of last year. That same left ACL he tore as a Bengal back in his first playoff game in January of 2006. He had just signed a contract extension. He had the rehab. His younger brother Jordan came out, and they worked hard to get back into this position. Jordan, an NFL quarterback in his own right, helped build up his big brother, and on his birthday, 36th birthday, Carson Palmer is turning in another great game.
Well, Carson Palmer's got an opportunity, and he knows it, to do something that has eluded him all these years, and that's win a world championship, and he's got the team around him to do it, and he knows it. That's a good feeling. He has really enjoyed each week. He's taken it one game at a time. He doesn't want to look too far ahead, but ultimately he's going to be judged on that, and he hasn't had a lot of opportunities in the postseason, but the ones that he had haven't fared too well for him, but he hasn't had the team around him like he's got here in Arizona.
This will be the second time that the Packers have been shut out in the first half this season, Week 12. At Detroit, that game turned out well. Packers trailed that game 20-0 and came back and won it on the Hail Mary to Richard Rodgers. But it's 17-0 for the team that's won 8 straight here at the half. Kurt, guys, all yours. The exciting moments brought to you by Nissan. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. We welcome you inside our broadcast booth. 17-0 as the Packers will get it to start the second half. I'm Joe Buck along with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. We're seated, so we're basically the same height as we come on camera. And let's talk about what was talked about in the dressing room for the Green Bay Packers. Man, they gotta figure something out here fast.
Yeah, they need some offense to help out this defense. It's been 6 weeks since this Green Bay defense has faced the top 10 offense, so they're getting exposed a little bit, but they haven't had much help. And for Green Bay, they cannot get into a situation to where they're just throwing the football, but they've had a hard time running it. And as we discussed coming in against this group, you've got to maintain some balance. They're down 17 points, still plenty of time, but this offense has to help their defense and has to be able to help keep that defense on the sidelines.
Well, as we said, Green Bay will get the ball here to start the second half as Catanzaro kicks it away, and Janis, who's been a real plus in the return game, takes a knee for Green Bay. Let's go down to the field and check in with Erin Andrews.
Well, Green Bay needs to get the offense going, and their head coach Mike McCarthy said they also need to clean it up a bit with these penalties. 5 total for the Packers in the first half, 3 of them coming on the offensive side of the ball, and then Mike McCarthy saying 3rd and long, just absolutely killing us. Bruce Arians, on the other hand, loving his defense, loving how they've shut down the run. He told me, guys, the first 5 minutes of the 3rd quarter will set the tone for my team. He emphasized, be here, stay right here in this moment.
A team record of 12-2. Arizona can wrap up the number 2 seed at worst with a win here today. Here is Starks. Ball is out. Arizona takes over. Another Starks fumble. And the loose ball picked up by Gerard Powers. And now Starks can't hang on to the ball.
Well, James Starks had a fumble last week, and they go with him to open up this second half, and he has a huge hole right there out in front of him and picks up a nice gain, and DJ Swearinger comes up and puts his helmet on the ball, and Powers is there then to make the play. He's got his eyes on the ball carrier. Ball bounces up. He's able to recover it. And what a terrible start to this second half by the Packers.
Already down 17-0, and for Arizona, they came into this game with 29 takeaways, the second most in the NFL behind Carolina. And that is turnover number 2 for the Green Bay Packers. The Aaron Rodgers interception in the end zone, and now the fumble by James Starks. Palmer has a man, Floyd, who takes a seat with a first down inside the 15 to the 14. Good for 14 yards.
Well, it's a well-designed play by the Cardinals, and you see this wide receiver screen each week, and they fake it this time to Fitzgerald, and it allows Michael Floyd, even though their safety helped, to get into that hole. Carson puts it on him.
Think about the huge swing at the end of the first half with the interception in the end zone. It was a 10-0 game. Could have been a 1-score game, and Carson Palmer took him down the field and into the end zone. They lead by 17, and now Johnson has an alley to the end zone. Touchdown.
Mike Iupati, the left guard, he pulls and knocks out Demarius Randall, and there's no contact on David Johnson until right at the goal line when Clinton Dix tries to keep him from scoring. Well, Larry Fitzgerald, probably the best blocking wide receiver in all of football, imposing his will as well.
This Arizona team can get you so many different ways. They're so deep on the outside. Now they've found a running back that can carry it, can catch it. They're looking at it to make sure, because it's a scoring play. And it's confirmed a touchdown carry for Johnson. That is 13 touchdowns for this rookie out of Northern Iowa. And a guy who has led the NFL in average yards per scrimmage over the last 3 weeks. And he's doing it again. It's points off the turnover. It started with a fumble by Starks. It was forced on a hit by Swearinger. Recovered by Powers, and then Johnson took it in. 24-0 Cardinals on top.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. By Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Not only would the Arizona Cardinals lock up the number 2 seed and a first-round bye in the upcoming postseason with a win here, but if they win here today, the next week at home against Seattle, Carolina, which lost today to the Falcons, would lose at home to Tampa Bay. Arizona becomes the number 1 seed in the NFC playoff picture. Here's Janis. Flag flies as Janis is knocked down at the 20. So there's still something out there for these Arizona Cardinals.
Receiving team number 95. Half minutes to the goal. First down.
They get Dayton Jones on a hold right there. Peterson made the tackle.
Yeah, Joe, and talking about Carolina, for a team that we thought had a chance to wrap up home field advantage, depending on if the Cardinals were to stumble here over the last couple of weeks and how they would handle it. With that loss today, let's put the pressure back on them to go out there next week and take care of business too.
Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks, who have been absolutely red hot, are losing at home 16-3 to St. Louis. Seahawks have won 5 straight, 7 of 8. Quick throw, James Jones trying to get a block from Cobb, doesn't work. Peterson blew right through the block and stands up James Jones, a gain of 1.
It's almost not even fair. I mean, watch Patrick Peterson, him go through Randall Cobb and make the play on James Jones. There's just not a lot of corners in this league that will be that physical and make that type of play.
Nowhere to go, sacked again. This time it's Freeney. And they're going to mark Rodgers down outside the end zone and at the 2. A loss of 8. And this offensive line can't handle Arizona.
Well, they can't handle the spin move either, and not many teams over the years have been able to when it comes to Dwight Freeney, and a guy who wasn't picked up until October, and yet he leads the team in sacks. Comes up with another one against Rodgers.
Blew right through Don Barclay. That's the fourth sack for Arizona, now 3rd and 17. Just a 4-man rush. Rodgers. Wide open, Davante Adams out to the 40. And then a flag for spiking the football. That will not cost the first down. They'll get the first down, but it'll cost yardage.
After play, delay of game, offense number 17, illegally spiking the ball. 5-yard penalty, it'll be 1st and 10.
It's just a 5-yard penalty, but it speaks to Davante Adams. Troy, I know he's been frustrated. He's admitted to drops, had a rough game on Sunday night against the Chicago Bears. That's some frustration coming out, but when you're being shut out, it's not a time to pop up and spike the ball.
No, it certainly was not him celebrating as much as he was just letting out some frustration. Mike McCarthy clearly not happy, nor should he be. But having said that, how about getting off the goal line when they had to make a play? And the one thing this Cardinals defense has done is give up big pass plays in the passing game, and the Packers needed one desperately.
Now the ball's out as Rodgers is hit. And it's a fight for the football as Buchanan knocked it out. Rodgers got back on it. Now Bulaga can't get up. And this offensive line just can't hold up. That's the 5th sack.
You see Deone Buchanan, he's untouched. Josh Sitton doesn't see him coming until late. He tries to come off of his block and get a hand on him, but just a free run on Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers came in having been sacked 33 times this season. That's a big hit for sack number 5 today for Arizona.
And they're fortunate to get back on that ball, even though now, once again, they've been staring at 2nd and long, 3rd and long way too often, and now Brian Bulaga is coming out of the game.
And Josh Walker, a rookie, takes over. Free agent from Middle Tennessee State. See if Rodgers comes down, and right there goes into the left knee of Bulaga. 2nd and 17. Golden can't get there. Rodgers able to outrun a big defensive lineman. That was Frosty Rucker. And he picks up 10.
Aaron Rodgers didn't like that hit. Didn't feel like it was necessary. It was certainly legal. He was within the field of play. But what do? They bring Marcus Golden then on Josh Walker, who was just inserted for Brian Bulaga. There's a hit at the end of it. And Powers didn't necessarily need to hit him, but he was in play, and Rodgers took exception to it.
Now 3rd and 7. Blitz. Packers able to pick it up. Rodgers able to pick up the first down as he slides at the 48, a gain of 10.
Well, Eddie Lacy, they got him in the backfield, and he comes across the formation and does an excellent job of picking up the blitzer in man coverage. And this is something we just really have not seen a lot of. We saw in the previous play when Rodgers got hit, but we haven't seen Rodgers escape the pocket and run this year as much as we've seen in years past.
10-yard carry for the first down. Rodgers trying to flip it to Lacy, incomplete, and that was dangerous.
Yeah, it was. Corey Redding, number 90, he was right there. He almost got an easy one.
2nd and 10.
Well, you can just tell watching this team that, you know, every yard, every down is just a fight.
Here's Lacy on a rare run. Tackle made by Kevin Minter. A gain of 3. 3rd down and 7 coming. Starts with a fumble that led to the last touchdown, and he's been on the sideline since.
He's still got his helmet on, but you kind of wonder whether or not he's going to get back onto the field with back-to-back weeks putting the ball on the ground.
3rd down and 7. Rodgers sacked again, ball out. Picked up. Redding, live play, touchdown. Kareem Martin knocked it out, and Corey Redding takes it for the touchdown, a return of 36.
There's Kareem Martin at defensive end. Josh Walker, he's in there at right tackle. He got beat a couple times on this possession. This time they make him pay. Rodgers puts it on the ground. Redding for the touchdown. Mike McCarthy not giving his tackle any help. He doesn't like to, but this kid's a young player, as you pointed out, Joe, an undrafted free agent, and they make him pay.
Ball came out before the knee was down. This to make it 31-0. All smiles here in Glendale, Arizona, but not for him. All Cardinals today leading 31-0 over the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has been sacked 6 times. He's been under pressure all day. The offensive line is not holding up. He's taken a lot of hits. And over a span of 6 minutes, 23 seconds off the clock, Arizona's forced 3 turnovers, and all 3 have led to touchdowns, the latest return by Corey Redding.
Well, we knew coming into the game, Joe, that the Packers, their only chance was if they were able to run the ball. They've not been able to do that. They get behind defense, giving up yards, giving up points. It's a terrible combination against this Cardinals defense.
The word on Bulaga is it's an ankle injury. His return is questionable. We'll look at the early game headliners here during week 16. The Atlanta Falcons stun the Carolina Panthers as Carolina loses its first game of the year. The Kansas City Chiefs, what a story that is. They clinch a playoff spot. And how about the Jets winning at home over New England and the Steelers losing to the Ravens just when you think you have the playoff picture figured out? Week 16 happens.
Or this league. You know, I mean, even teams that have nothing to play for and teams that do, the ones that do getting upset all over the place.
Defense, 12 men on the field, illegal substitution, 12-men in formation. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So it makes it first down and 5 with 9.5 to go. And a mix-up defensively. I know, Troy, you've been impressed with James Bettcher, first-year defensive coordinator, and just his 4th year in the NFL, Bruce Arians picked the right guy to replace Bowles.
Well, he sure did. That was a great hire, bringing him up from within the organization. He took over what was already a good defense, and he made them better in virtually every category.
Here's a toss to Lacy. He's got a first down. And Eddie Lacy, you can see the frustration on him. A gain of 9. Jefferson on the tackle.
You know, we talked about it early in the season, Joe. When you look at the NFC picture and the teams that we covered very early on, you say Arizona is a complete team. Carolina, a complete team. Do they have enough offense? Now they certainly do, but clearly, in my opinion, the 2 best teams in the NFC. Not surprised they're looking at buys.
Toss to Lacy, gets a block. Biggest of the day is Eddie Lacy's able to hang on as he takes it to the 40. A carry of 26 yards. And out in front was that young tackle, Josh Walker.
Well, they bring in their 2 tight end package and say, hey, we're not going to just sit back there and try to protect the quarterback. We haven't been able to do it. We've got to run the football regardless of what the score is, and they get a nice gain from Lacy.
We 19! Game break coming as Lacy takes it again. This may be trying to preserve Aaron Rodgers as well. With that, we'll go to Kurt for a game break.
Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin hook up for the 11th touchdown between those two in the last 5 games, and they need it. They've been trailing St. Louis all day. It's a little closer, 16-10. Rams still, though, on top in Seattle. Joe?
Kurt, thanks. Here's one floated downfield, and that ball was in play. Everybody kind of gave up on it. Incomplete. 3rd and 11 coming up. Here's the NFC playoff picture. And there was a flag on that last play. It's against Arizona for 12 men on the field again. We'll show you this playoff picture with obviously 14-1 Carolina on top. Cardinals right behind them, trying to get to 13-2. And another free play as Rodgers is able to get up and snap it before the substitution can be made. So now 2nd and 7. John Crockett in the backfield. Big move here by Rodgers, and Richard Rodgers overthrown. Good pressure by Dwight Freeney. 3rd and 7.
You look at this defense, and we've talked about it. We've been talking about this with the Packers offensively for what seems like a year. But they lock up man-to-man coverage, and somebody just has to be able to create separation. We saw earlier James Jones in the first quarter. He was able to run around and start to one side of the field and then come out of it and create a space on the break, and yet too many times these receivers are running routes and turning it into a foot race and not creating a space for Rodgers to get him the ball.
Gotta believe this is 4-down territory. Pass for Jones out of his reach. And now it's 4th down. And Mike McCarthy puts his hands up and tells his offense to stay out there.
A lot of contact down the field there by Justin Bethel. James Jones had a chance, just unable to complete that pass.
4th down and 7. Blitz. Rodgers, sideline, pass caught. Jones, first down. And a conversion by Green Bay on 4th and 7, a gain of 9.
And James Bettcher, defensive coordinator, he He does really what they've been doing all season long. On 3rd and 4th down, they're going to bring the blitz. They do as much as anybody in football in these passing situations. And you better be able to block them up and get the ball out. Packers are able to.
Here is Crockett. Gave the Packers a little spark when he was added to the active roster off the practice squad in that game at Detroit after Alonzo Harris was cut. Crockett now 6 carries on the season. No gain here, 22 yards. Lacy back in there. He's been bothered by a rib injury. Suffered last week. Now 2nd and 10. This one is out to Lacy. Gets a block. Flag down, but a touchdown.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 51, blow to the head. The touchdown counts. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
They get Kevin Minter on roughing the passer. A blow to the head of Aaron Rodgers. It stands. A 28-yard catch and run, and they'll go for 2.
Josh Sitton, he's the one who's able to make the key block. Looked like DJ Swearinger is the one who had Eddie Lacy in coverage, but Sitton able to make the block on the screen. And once you pick off that guy who's got him in man coverage, there's nobody else there. As you see what the penalty was for, but Rodgers, he was under pressure and just able to get it out of his hands to Lacy. But credit Josh Sitton for that score.
28-yard touchdown for Eddie Lacy. And the Packers, who are 3 for 5 on 2-point conversions, will go for 2 here. Trying to make up as many points as they can. This would make it a 23-point game. Pass is caught. 2 points good. James Jones, 31-8. And a good drive put together by Aaron Rodgers. They converted on that 4th down to James Jones. And then Eddie Lacy with a catch and run. The 2-pointer to James Jones, 31-8. Arizona leading.
This game is sponsored by the Ford F-150. Every other truck is history.
The Packers are on the scoreboard. Eddie Lacy's been holding his right side ever since getting back to the sideline. 28-yard touchdown catch. It's a 23-point game.
He's clearly in a lot of pain, and we saw, as you said, John Crockett on the field as well, and kind of goes back to that fumble and whether Starks will get his shot again.
Here is an onside kick attempt, and it's picked up by Jaron Brown. After the penalty on the touchdown, kicking from midfield, the Packers say why not, and Jaron Brown is there for Arizona. They've already successfully tried a fake punt today. The onside kick does not work. Brown is there for Arizona. They were comparing that 47-yarder at Philadelphia David Johnson had last week to that run Marshawn Lynch had against the Saints back in 2011. He's got 4 straight games now with over 100 total yards. Andre Ellington starts this drive in the backfield. Failed onside kick effort. Ellington just did get the handoff from Palmer. Good for 2. We saw Eddie Lacy in some pain. Aaron, what's he dealing with?
Well, Joe, you mentioned he came into this game with a rib injury, and of course, when Aaron Rodgers fumbled the ball, Corey Redding picked it up. Eddie Lacy, you saw right there, try to go after him. I watched him come off the field. Of course, he was grabbing that hip again, the rib again. So it looks like obviously he aggravated it right there on that play.
Able to get it in on that catch and run. He's been holding it ever since. Now 2nd and 8. Pass is caught on The move was Andre Ellington, good for 5, and a third down coming up, and the Packers need a stop.
Yeah, a little early in this half for Mike McCarthy to go with the onside kick, but it certainly did not fool the Arizona Cardinals. Nevertheless, not converting on that gives the ball at midfield to this Arizona offense. So right now, the Packers defense being asked to do something they've had a hard time doing when you give an offense this explosive the ball at midfield.
Palmer all by himself back there on 3rd and 3.
False start, offense number 62. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's Ted Larson, the right guard, who's making his 6th straight start. Let's go back to the onside kick.
And the onside kick, it didn't even travel 10 yards to begin with. It was a high bounce, but Brown does a good job of seeing it and going and getting it rather than waiting like so many guys do. He catches it. Packers weren't sure exactly where the ball was. They were expecting it to travel a little bit further, but sets up this offense with great field position, but helped by this penalty, the Packers defense is with 3rd and long.
Blitz. Palmer protected. This is Brown. He's overshot. Wide open, and Carson Palmer would love to have that over.
Boy, you're not kidding. John Brown, he gets caught up in the traffic, and the Packers defenders do man coverage, and then he comes out of it. Carson spots him, and yeah, he knows immediately that he missed a real opportunity to come away with another touchdown.
Butler. And a fair catch by Hyde. Just outside the 10, 39-yard punt. Back to the field, Aaron Rodgers with his team down 23. You talk about points allowed off turnovers, 21 today. First 14 games, second fewest in the NFL with just 24 through 14 games. This game's a long way from being over. From the 11, Rodgers is sacked again, number 7. And a flag flies at the end of it. First guy there was Okafor.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 25, helmet-to-helmet contact. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they get Gerard Powers for that hit up under the chin of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it was the right call. Gerard Powers, hits him, with the crown of the helmet. And right now, Mike McCarthy, he's got to get Josh Walker at the right tackle position some help.
So it wipes away a sack. And with this hit by Powers, it gives Green Bay a first down out at their own 26. James Jones incomplete as he was checked by Justin Bethel. Bethel got a contract extension. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. That's mainly for special teams. Now they lose Tyrann Mathieu, and Bethel goes to the outside when Powers goes inside where Matthews was playing.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $15 million deal, Joe. You don't do that just for special teams players, and they feel that he's a really talented young corner, and so that's why they signed him, and he's being relied on. He was earlier in the year. He had 3 starts, and he's going to play the rest of the way through the postseason.
2nd and 10. Rodgers able to avoid 1 sack, not another. Brought down by Rucker. Number 7 for this Arizona defense.
Well, here it is off the edge. Josh Walker at right tackle, no help, and so it forces Aaron Rodgers immediately up in the pocket, and then you've got Frosty Rucker who's able to provide the inside pressure. He's just been under duress the entire game, and you see Aaron's talking to himself. That's never a good sign.
Season high 7 sacks for the Cardinals defense. Third down and 18. And ball's out. Touchdown, Arizona. Powers. Knocked out by Freeney. And Rodgers has been under siege all day.
Joe, they're just shorthanded at the tackle position, so they put Richard Rodgers over to the right side to help Josh Walker, but then you've got one-on-one with Dwight Freeney and Don Barclay, the backup left tackle, and Freeney beats him.
No answers up front. As you said, they're thin at tackle. They started the game without Bakhtiari, their left tackle, out with an ankle injury. Barclay got the start there. Now they're down to Josh Walker, who's playing in place of the injured Brian Bulaga at right tackle. And Aaron Rodgers hoping to get through this game healthy. That play was reminiscent of the 2009 wild card game here, which was wild. 51-45, Arizona won in overtime. Most combined points in playoff history. And it was a ball that came out on a hit on Aaron Rodgers, returned for the game-winning touchdown in overtime. And now Scott Tolzien is going to get loose. They just want Aaron Rodgers to stay healthy.
Well, we saw Mike McCarthy over on the sidelines talking with Aaron Rodgers, and I was going to say, that's a big hit right there, clearly, Gerard Powers. But at some point, you hate to do it. Everybody's competitive. But at some point, you have to acknowledge, we're not going to win this game, and we need you if we're going to do anything in the postseason. We're already in the playoffs. We'll play next week potentially for the division title, but we need you. And it's time to go with Scott Tolzien, because we cannot protect you on the outside with what we have and the way that they're coming after him. I think it's the right move by Mike McCarthy.
You know, we talk about Mike McCarthy taking over the play calling. This is third week doing so. Doesn't matter who's calling the play if the offensive line can't hold up. And even though Tolzien was getting loose, and I'm with you, it makes all the sense in the world. Here comes Aaron Rodgers. They have a home game with Minnesota next week, which will likely decide the division winner in the North. And Rodgers, who has been pounded all game, is back out there down by 30.
Yeah, it looked to me when we see Tolzien warming up that he was going to be the guy coming out onto the field. I don't like this at all, Joe. Down 30 points, and we've seen nothing in this game to indicate that the Packers can come back and win this game. And more importantly, they've shown no ability to protect their quarterback.
Well, they've made a change. Josh Walker is out, and J.C. Treader is out at right tackle.
319!
Here's Lacy. Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. I'll say it again with regard to Arizona. With a win today, they wrap up the number 2 seed at worst. They have a chance for the number 1 overall seed in the NFC playoff picture with a win next week at home against Seattle, and a Carolina loss at home to Tampa Bay.
I'd say they're playoff ready, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they look good. 2nd and 6.
319!
Still putting it up. Jones down the sideline, incomplete. And again, Aaron Rodgers ends up on the ground. In less than 13 minutes, Arizona 4 takeaways, leading to 28 points.
You just kind of wonder what the collateral damage will be from this game. I mean, a lot of times when you're an offense that's having success and you run into, this type of game, you're able to just overlook it and move on. But this has been going on for a long time. It just seems like each week the frustration level continues to build for this offense, and especially for Aaron Rodgers.
Out to his right to buy some time. Pass is caught by Quarles as he's welcomed back into the fold. Had MCL damage in a Week 3 win over Kansas City. And that's his third catch of the year.
Yeah, we've seen Rodgers get outside the pocket on some of these design-type plays, and it was something that Aaron Rodgers had said that he was pushing for more of, off of the run game and just try to get him out on the edge a little bit more in the passing game.
Here's John Kuhn. It's 2. Under 2 to go, third quarter. Here's John Kuhn, who was really busy last week, involved in 47 snaps of offense at Oakland, is going to come out. James Starks is parked in the doghouse after a fumble. We've seen John Crockett with 1 carry. Lacey's bothered by something on his right side. He's in there on 2nd and 8. Rodgers out to his left, downfield for Jones. Contact and pass interference. Bethel.
Pass interference. Defense number 28. Automatic first down.
I know Bethel didn't like the call, but it sure looked like pass interference to me. And how about the arm of Aaron Rodgers as he's rolling out to his left? James Jones, a lot of times the receiver to your side will work back towards you in a scramble drill. Instead, he goes high. It made for a long throw. Bruce Arians not happy about the call at all.
He's trying to say the pass was uncatchable. And a flag is thrown, and that's against Arians.
Goal. Automatic first down.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the sideline. You can see Arians saying that pass was not catchable.
Among other things.
Bruce Arians, at the age of 63. Finally getting a shot. Stepped in for Chuck Pagano in Indianapolis. In his 3rd season here, 33 and 13. First and goal, Jones. Can't reach around and make the catch as Bethel was in coverage.
Kind of working over Justin Bethel. That's been the guy who they've targeted on a lot of these attempts. When you look at the Arizona Cardinals and some of the significant injuries that they've had, whether it was Chris Johnson, who might be back, but then Tyrann Mathieu, they're all world safety. At least it's been at positions where they have some depth. Of course, David Johnson is more than just some backup replacement, but they've got some good safety play. And Rashad Johnson, another excellent player for them, he hasn't gotten on the field the last 2 weeks.
They threw the flag.
First charge timeout.
They're going to pick it up.
Timeout was called prior to the clock expiring.
Timeout was called by Aaron Rodgers with the play clock headed toward zeros. The Big East begins conference play this week, and it's all on FS1, including a sensational matchup on New Year's Eve between 2 of the top teams in the country. 6th-ranked Xavier battles 17th-ranked Villanova. It's all on your home for Big East Hoops, FS1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. 2nd down and goal here for the Packers, down by 30.
Well, if they're not going to run the ball, Joe, I just think that as much pressure as Rodgers has been under, that they maybe move the pocket a little bit and let him get out on the edge. They're not showing that they're going to give any help to their right tackle,
who is now J.C. Tretter instead of Josh Walker. Quick throw, pass caught. Davante Adams, and a good strong tackle is made by Bethel on the near side of the field. Now 3rd and goal.
Well, right now at 3rd and goal from the 3, they're in 4-down territory. So can you pick up 3 yards if you hand the ball off to number 27 twice?
slips right through his hands. And again, Aaron Rodgers is looking for Bethel. Looked like they had it, and Adams just missed it.
That's a ball he's got to catch. Those are the plays you've got to make, and he's just had a real tough time. I know in talking with Aaron Rodgers, he had high expectations of him coming into the year with Jordy Nelson down, and hasn't worked out, but he said he has not lost any confidence in the young man, and continues to throw him the ball.
4th and goal. Quick throw. Adams does not get there. Bethel made the play.
We saw a couple plays by Justin Bethel down here making tackles as soon as the ball was caught. That's what you have to do here with the slant. He drives on it, and he gets some help from some of his friends, but it's a great goal line stop by this Cardinals defense.
Bethel with 7 tackles and an interception in this game. And a good start for him with more responsibility because of the injury to the guy talking in his ear, Tyrann Mathieu. Last play of quarter number 3. It's Ellington able to get out of the end zone and take it to the 10. Statement game for the Arizona Cardinals here at home, trying to win their 9th straight. Offense, defense rolling on America's Game of the Week, up 30. We were there last week in the Meadowlands when this crew, led by Terry McAulay, was involved in that game between the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers, a game that saw all that extracurricular stuff, the hits, the hit to the head by Odell Beckham Jr. on Josh Norman, all that back and forth that seemingly took place from the first play from scrimmage on. 2nd down and 2. Handoff is to Ellington, able to bounce it for a 1st down, and it keeps the clock winding. So after that, Pro Football Talk has a piece up today saying that last week's debacle at MetLife Stadium resulted in no consequences for referee Terry McAulay's crew beyond the normal grading process. Despite the absence of a problem for McAulay in the NFL, there's apparently a problem between McAulay and the union that represents him. Meanwhile, a 1st down and 10 play here coming for Arizona. The NFL Referees Association, per a source with knowledge of the situation, talked about McAulay standing inside the Referees Association, their union. Here's Ellington, a loss on the play. Director Jim Quick issued a statement criticizing the crew for its handling of the game. According to the source, McAulay was sufficiently upset to essentially quit the union. Mike Pereira is standing by while this drive continues for Arizona. What's the story with this, and what does that mean when Pro Football Talk is saying that this referee, Terry McAulay, has essentially quit the union?
Well, I think, Joe, you just said that the Cardinals have made a statement today in this game. Well, Terry McAulay made his own statement, and what he did is he sent an email to the executive director of the NFLRA, the National Football League Referees Association, basically saying that he is not going to participate in any union activities. He cannot quit the union. If he quits the union, he has to give up officiating, because under their collective bargaining agreement, you must pay dues in order to be on the field. Now, he cannot participate, which some say he doesn't participate much anyways, but the fact is he's very upset at the comments that were made by Jim Quirk. Jim Quirk has reached out. He sent a email to all the officials and has reached out to McAulay, but hasn't heard back at this point. But this is some internal strife within the union and the officials that's not good at all.
Yeah, here's Fitzgerald. I said quick. Obviously, Jim Quirk. And just to wrap up with regard to last week, we were talking with you during the game, during breaks, as that game got out of hand and we saw Odell Beckham Jr. ended up suspended for a game. He won't play tonight. Did you think the league was right in criticizing the crew for not ejecting one or both players during that game?
Well, I don't necessarily think they were right in doing so. I think everybody saw that it would have been wise to, to go ahead and eject maybe both of them. But I will say this, that as officials in the league, you try to keep people in the game. There's only 46 active players, and you do your very best to keep them in the game. But I do think this went too far, and they would have been wise to do it. But nevertheless, I don't think that the league had to come out and make that statement saying that they called the replay booth to remind the referee that he had the ability to eject people. Terry McAulay is a very good referee, and there's no question he knows he could have, but I do think that was a step too far in going publicly to criticize.
Mike, thanks. Second down and 9 here for Carson Palmer. Here is Ellington. These Cardinals are staying in play to keep the clock winding. It'll be 3rd and 6. And it's been shown a lot, that hit. Helmet to the helmet of Norman on the part of Odell Beckham Jr. And this stuff was going on from the beginning to the end.
Well, I thought at the beginning Terry McAulay did an outstanding job of really gathering their participants and the head coaches and explaining to them that it was not going to be tolerated, and yet it continued. And I think that as it continued, and when you have a player, even though there's no limit, when you have a player who's had 3 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, to me, that's sufficient grounds for an ejection.
3rd down and 6, pass is caught. That's Brown, Jaron Brown. But a flag is down back where Palmer let it go.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that wipes away a 21-yard completion to Jaron Brown. It's against Larson.
Ted Larson, the right guard, who had 16 starts last year at left guard, got his opportunity about 5 weeks ago. As you see the penalty, it was the right call. And this offensive line, they've had some moving pieces as well this year, but once they made the transition from Jonathan Cooper at right guard to Ted Larson, it has really solidified this group, and they've been pretty solid.
10 penalties now called against Arizona. It brings up 3rd and 16. Palmer too high and nearly picked by Clinton Dix. I don't know if people remember about Carson Palmer at the beginning of last year. It's easy to focus on the torn ACL in November, but he had nerve damage that was affecting his throwing arm, his grip on the ball. He was wondering if he was ever going to be right again. And here he is a year later coming back off the ACL. It allowed him to have a chance to heal. And he's having a record-setting year as he turns 36 here today. What a play. Catch made by Hyde, and there's Bethel again. That's why he goes to the Pro Bowl as a special teamer. Under 10 to go. Green Bay will have it. Somehow Hyde hung on. America's Game of the Week being dominated by the Arizona Cardinals.
Today's game is sponsored by Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK. By State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. And by Amazon Fire TV. So long, showhole.
Aaron Rodgers is on the sideline the rest of the way. Ties a career high for times being sacked for Aaron Rodgers, 8 times today. And Scott Tolzien takes over. Has not thrown a pass this season.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown a pass in over 2 years.
Toss to Crockett. Nothing there. And just going backward. First guy there was Gunter. The rookie nose tackle, Rodney Gunter, who has played so well for this Cardinals defense.
Yeah, he really has. He stepped in there when they had the injury at the nose tackle position to Corey Peters, and he drafted in the 4th round, and he had to step in and play earlier than they probably planned, but he's been solid all season long. And so many times we've seen the Packers go in the wrong direction Packers may have conceded by putting Tolzien in, but the Arizona Cardinals, they're not conceding anything.
Well, they have been relentless from the start. 2nd and 18. Quick throw. Corliss. Second catch dumped by Powers. Carolina and their defense, they get a lot of the attention, and rightly so, with guys like Kuechly and Kawan Short up front. Good in the secondary. Norman, who we just showed you, at least in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. But as far as depth and levels of a defense, this Arizona defense is right there with them.
They're so talented, but they're as fast on both sides of the ball as any team we've seen all year.
3rd and 14 and a safety, but a flag is down. The flag was thrown, and they may say that Tolzien stayed out of the end zone.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, offense. Penalties decline, 4th down.
So they're going to say that the play started to hit. The forward progress began outside of the end zone. There's the hands to the face. That was close.
Well, we saw Dwight Freeney earlier with his patented spin move. This time he just bull rushes right through Don Barkley, and even with getting his face mask pulled, he's able to make a play on Tolzien. Pretty incredible play.
Well, they're going to challenge this, Arizona, and say that this is a safety. It's a Cardinals challenge, in case you're wondering. Bruce Arians.
Arizona is challenged that the forward progress was stopped in the end zone.
3 for 9 in challenges. We'll get the call when we come back. Is it 2 more points for the Cardinals? Here's a call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Arizona is charged with its first timeout.
Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles agrees with it. The entire ball has got to get out. And it looked like for one flash it did. Right there. And that's the difference between a safety and a punt coming. And I mean, Tim Mastay, the punter, is going to be right at the end line as the ball is inches inside the 1. A step and a kick. J.J. Nelson, the rookie, fair catch. And the Cardinals will have it, and we'll see who is at quarterback. The answer is Drew Stanton. The day for Carson Palmer is over in a 30-point game.
Game is sponsored by Taco Bell's Crunchwrap Sliders. 4 full-size flavors, just $1 each.
This is by far the best Arizona Cardinals football team I've been on. I'm talking from top to bottom, from the defensive line to the outside linebackers. It's by far the best secondary, the most playmakers that we ever had, and everybody's on the same page. It's a beautiful thing.
It is showing today. Carson Palmer's day is finished. 265 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. As Drew Stanton takes over, just 2 for 6 throwing it this year, but they'll run it. And they'll run it with Kerwin Williams. Meanwhile, Carson Palmer, Troy, is 73 yards shy now of a new Cardinals franchise season record for passing yards. Neil Lomax has the record at 4,614 and 84. This year just continues for Carson.
I mean, he's got 4,500 yards passing this year, and he hasn't finished a couple games. I mean, he's come out because they've had such big leads. So he would have had a lot more than that. And you talked earlier about his brother, Jordan Palmer, who's been a quarterback in this league. And, you know, they go back each week, and they evaluate his mechanics and his technique and the fundamentals, and they're pretty locked in and focused on how he's playing the position.
Stanton throws, pass caught by Williams, not much on 2nd down. I talked to Jordan this week, and he said, I've never seen Carson more dedicated than he was leading into this year and during the course of the year, and it's shown. I mean, he's 36 years old. He's having the best year of his career, and he's going to look forward to At least as far as the Cardinals are hoping success for the first time in January.
No doubt. I mean, this Cardinals team and for Carson Palmer as well, he's going to be judged on what happens in January. But like I said earlier, he knows that this is the best team he's had around him. He wants to take full advantage of it. You see these quarterbacks play at the level that he's played at, and it doesn't just happen.
Here is Williams on 3rd and 6. The handoff for a first down. And they will let the clock wind, coming up on 6.5 left. And it doesn't matter who they hand it to. It's been Johnson, Ellington, and now Williams.
Well, the offensive line we came in talking a little bit about, they get overshadowed, as so many good offenses do, by the skill players, the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, David Johnson at running back. But that's been the biggest difference, I think, this year as opposed to last year, outside of losing quarterbacks. But this offensive line in the run game has made them so balanced, and they put a defense in a tremendous predicament.
Saw Bruce Arians as Williams carries it. He's on his way to 43-16 as a head coach. Early in his life, he was the youngest college coach at the age of 30 at Temple in the mid-'80s, from 83 to 88. He got fired there and never hired to be a head coach again until 2013. That's 25 years. He was let go by the Pittsburgh Steelers, a story well known by now. In 2011, he retired. He thought he was finished. Then Indianapolis called. He ends up taking over for Chuck Pagano, who's battling cancer. And he's won Coach of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. Fumbled by Williams, picked up by Burnett. And it's Stanton who makes the open field tackle to avoid a touchdown. And a turnover for Kerwin Williams.
And I can tell you, Bruce Arians is not going to be happy about this, regardless of what the score is. You see his face throughout this game, and you'd never know they got a 30-point lead.
Pennell forced it. Burnett picked it up, and the Packers have it, down 30. Rodgers is on the sideline for the rest of this one. He's been sacked 8 times today, Tolzien once. And the 9 by Arizona ties the season high across the NFL. Handoff is to Crockett. Provided a little spark when he was in there in that Detroit game. Corey Redding on the tackle. Under 5 to go. Eddie Lacy. He has a touchdown in this game. 12 carries, 60 yards, 5.0 average, but the run game was out the window once this score became as lopsided as it did, as fast as it did. 2nd and 5.
Triple 5-9. Green 18. Green shot.
Crockett again. 3rd down coming up.
Well, we talked earlier about Mike McCarthy and saying that he was tired of talking about all the negativity, and I think he's a long way from being done about talking about that after this game. There are going to be a lot of questions, and I think the challenge for him again this week is to create some optimism for this football team and let them know that everything that they came into this season to accomplish is right out in front of them. Now, they have to play a lot better than they have for a good part of this year, but they're going to have their hands full next week, but they still got the division title well within sight.
This ball's out, picked up by Crockett, and the Packers are under 3 yards of play in this game. And they're under 200 for this effort against Arizona. It's 4th down, and Green Bay will punt. Coming off a 293-yard day at Oakland, that was their first time under 300 since the loss at Denver on the 1st of November, and it's not even close to that here today. Fair catch called for by J.J. Nelson. Well, Bruce Arians, one of the older head coaches. He has some veteran coaches, to say the least, around him. They are plenty experienced And those who know Bruce Arians tell you he is a very loyal man. These are longtime coaches that he has had a relationship with before. And when he got this opportunity, he called on guys, didn't matter the age. In fact, he said he wanted the experience when he took over.
Yeah, I really admire that about him. He dusted a few of them off and brought them back. Guys who had made impacts in his career as a coach and knows that they have brilliant minds and have been around the game a long time and wanted to utilize that. And I think almost as much thank them for what they've meant to him. And you know, I really like Bruce Arians, think a lot of him. He seems like the guy you'd want to just go hang out with and have a beer with, but I know in talking with Carson Palmer, he said, hey, this happy, funny-go-lucky guy that you guys see in the media, that's not the way he is with us. He's very direct, he's very honest, he's very intense, but they respect the heck out of him because he's a heck of a football coach and he deals with them straight. And I think that at the end of the day, all players, and I speak from experience, they want somebody who's in charge that they know can allow them to become the player that they're capable of becoming. And you think of what he's meant to so many of these guys' careers, not just here, but Peyton Manning when he came into the league, what he did for him, and all these other guys, and especially here in Arizona.
So good with Big Ben in Pittsburgh. Here's Williams coming off that fumble. We showed you Tom Pratt. 80 years old. He is known as the pass rush specialist. And there he was, Super Bowl I, an assistant coach for the great Hall of Fame head coach Hank Stram. A game against the Packers. And I guarantee you this game, he would tell you, has kept him young. And at the age of 80, he's dialing up the pass rush. What a job he and this staff have done. Happy birthday to Carson Palmer. He's 36 today. Doesn't look it. Still rolling, as are the Cardinals. 2 minutes left in the desert. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide. 30-point game. Arizona faced with a third down on their way to their 9th straight win. Securing a first-round bye here today. Here's Williams out across the 30 with a first down. Did you know Bruce Arians was a running backs coach on Bear Bryant's Alabama staff in the early 80s? But he plays so young because of his attitude and the Kangol hats that he's wearing around and the glasses and all that, but he's got a lot of experience. And these guys, as you said, Carson Palmer's been around a long time. He loves playing for Arians.
Well, you know, from my perspective, we knew him as a coordinator at his various stops. He had resigned himself to the fact he was never going to get an opportunity to be a head coach, and it took the unfortunate situation to Chuck Pagano and his health to get that opportunity, but I'm glad he got it. They're fortunate to have him here in Arizona. We would never have known just what a great head coach he is. He's been excellent. He's been outstanding.
When you think about this organization and the role that they have been on the last 2 years in the NFC, the Arizona Cardinals have the best overall record at 24-7. So from the owner, Bill Bidwell, who was watching back at home, to the president, Michael Bidwell, who's done such a good job with this franchise, to Steve Keim, their general manager, who took over right before Arians was hired. This team is rolling, and they are a force to be reckoned with. At least the number 2 seed in the upcoming NFC playoffs as they clinch a first-round bye with a 30-point win here at home over Green Bay today. The Packers will have a chance to win the division at home next week against Minnesota, regardless of what happens tonight with the Minnesota Vikings as they host the New York Giants. Bonus coverage coming up. We'll take you to Seattle, where the Rams surprisingly lead the Seahawks 23-10. That's coming up after the break. Arizona wins it by 30.